So it was very recent, and they had D7 performing exceptionally well, and they also had Jenny R performing miraculously on this map. But I want to look towards D7. I also want to look towards Josie, because she was finding a lot of impact, especially finding entry kills on that T side of Anubis. I want to see these players now elevate their game to get Big Keeper back in this series.
Well, you heard it here, folks. We are now into map number 2. It is Overpass. 9 Pandas versus Big Keeper. And of course, this is basically it for Big. They have to win this map if they want to take us to that map 3. Dallas is on the line. Loser goes home. And the winner, well, they get to go to LAN. So there's a lot to play for here. 9 Panda going to start things off heading up towards A long here. ZAna will spot that out. It's a little bit of information early on. Hasn't called it just yet, and the rotations are going to be very delayed. And the site is instantly going in the favor of 9 Pandas. Bomb's going to get planted. Elizabeth posted up here on this little dumpster. Going to have good sight lines of any rotations moving in. Spots out one player. Not quite connecting, but she can give that over to the rest of her teammates. This post plant is solid. Big with only one flash. There, it's gone. They're going to have to push in off of that. And it's Elizabeth again. She is devastating with these pistols in her hands. 2 for herself. Ada trades back 2 as well. And somehow they've kept themselves alive, but not to the end, as Victoria will get that last kill.
Yeah, I mean, that round, it just looked like an unfortunate timing issue. I don't think ZAna actually spotted 9 Pandas as she moved away towards Dice. And then when she jump spotted, she was just caught completely off guard. I like the discipline as well coming out of Elizabeth. She doesn't actually overextend. She lets Big Keeper come to her. And she is the pistol queen right now. Incredible stuff. A hat trick of kills over towards the rotating players of Big Keeper. It puts 9 Pandas off to a solid start here on their map pick.
Yeah, honestly, pistol rounds, Elizabeth, you want to get rid of her or you want to avoid her? Those are your 2 options. She has been absolutely devastating. That's going to be a bit of a gamble stack over towards B here for the big players. Only really pistols to work with here. 1 Mac 10 from 9 Pandas. Tip of the spear. Going to try and crack open a sightline. And look how patiently they're playing. They send 1 player out on an exploratory mission to gather some intel. A site's free and clear, and Bomb's going to start making its way over.
Yeah, it's cool that it's the Mac 10 as well, because at the end of the day, you don't really care too much if you lose that and you throw it into a stack. The best weapon they can have is that SMG. So Big Keeper realized this, and I tell you what, if you're Big Keeper here, you can really play the advantages, and you can just try and maybe just feed Shu a little bit with this AK. Overwhelm, try and save is the best alternative, but do not let Victoria farm up money. It's $600 a kill with this Mac 10, and sure, you might not be able to save the AK, but I was going to say, any kills is just going to help her flesh out and afford a purchase onto that AWP.
You definitely don't want her getting that early on. But look at this from 9 Panda. They are not giving up any space here. They're not giving even an inch. And that is a second kill for Victoria. So much cash in her back pocket. As 9 Pandas will fan out and annihilate every last member of Big. Just about.
If you're Jenny R here, I honestly think you just drop the Mac 10. Don't play with it. Just upgrade yourself to an M4. Okay, this is a half measure. So because of that Mac 10, they're actually just going to invest deagles and a light splattering of utility across all the players. A Bigger Keeper, they are heavily prioritizing ZANa's AWP right now. That's the aim of the game. They want all the utility as well as the M4s, and they want the AWP on ZAna for their first full gun round.
Now, with Victoria already having hers on the board, they definitely need to play a little bit of catch-up here. And again, 9 Pandas, slow and steady. Just holding on, chilling out towards their own spawn, send out a bit of util, get some early information, but not committing to anything until they're 100% sure, even when they know they have the advantage. Oh, ZAna. She could get some value here. Oh, instantly shut down. Spread on that is not great. So Elizabeth just takes a tickle of damage before she's able to trade it back.
That's a solid NT from ZAna on the Nova. D7. Does the D stand for Deagle? Had to find out. Just on the other side of the toilets lies in wait Fatal. Flashbang for Ida. It's all a little bit of a distraction to allow Fatal a little bit more wiggle room. In fact, D7's fallen as well. So this is not looking like the best state of affairs for Big EQUIPA right now.
And not too much to be done here. Unfortunate spray there. But of course, this is more or less to be expected in an anti-eco. A flawless round for 9Panda. This is fantastic for them. They couldn't have asked for a better start to this map. Big, on the other hand, definitely struggling, but they are buying into that AWP as you predicted. We'll see if this can maybe give them the leverage they need to start bringing things back in their favor. These opening kills are so important, and with 9Panda's incredibly slow playstyle, it seems to make Big a little bit paranoid.
Yeah, I'm excited for this though, because they kind of already like conceded the idea that they were going to start 3-0 down. Nade stack, lining on in. Jenny R's got to be careful. Doesn't actually do that much damage. She's so far away, dealing her spams out in towards connector that the grenades don't quite connect. Still, very good control being taken for 9Pandas. You can see that Shu has got an inkling over towards short. It's still the map control gathered, and also connector is under siege for Big EQUIPA. They need to try and retake this or just rely heavily on their crossfires. Josi's now taken so much damage from this spam, but my eyes again, as well as the observers, looking towards D7 on this flank. Can she find anything?
Seen some serious happy feature from the Big EQUIPA players. But 9Panda, they're not checking this. They're not expecting it. They have literally no idea. And that's gonna be... Oh, she doesn't get the kill! Oh my goodness, no! She can't confirm the first kill. She can't confirm the second. She does so much damage, but she's instantly deleted. It's one of the small little misplays, tiny mistake, and it could have cost them the round. Now, we've got ZAna posted up here with that AWP, looking for that little bit of information. She knows that they are going to be pushing in here, so she repositions, gives up a little bit of space, and again, it's Shu on the flank. This could be an important position for her. See if she can get something for herself as the rotation has started coming back over towards the side. It's all been a fake, all of that utility just to put Tati into a solid position. Josi has found herself the sneakiest little ninja spot, but the bomb plant does not get denied. Now it has to be a full retake. Josi has to wait for her team to get into position. Jenny will get the first kill onto Victoria. That's the signal that Josi can now push forward and get something done. She's going to give her team that numbers advantage, but Tati's lurk. This is where it comes to fruition, but she's only good for one. Fatal's in a good position, even with only 1 HP, able to get 1 kill for herself. The HP game is definitely not in 9Panda's favor, and it's ZAna with the AWP, followed up by Ada. Beautiful retake from Big EQUIPA.
That is the most chaotic round of Counter-Strike I have seen in a very long time. The fact that Shu doesn't go in towards water, pushes further and finds Josi, allows that retake to even come in, to even make it a possibility. Tati's on the flank, can only find one. Really good adjustment from Ida, who then follows up and locks in that retake. I'll be honest, that round should never have been Big EQUIPA's, but they make it work. Hello, what's this?
Oh,
checking for the 5-player boost. That's cool.
Doesn't get too much, but hey, at least now they know it's not happening. So every little bit of information helps to some extent. And again, we have this slower positioning from 9Pandas. Yeah, that last round is still kind of reeling in my head a little bit. Josi in that terribly sneaky spot in water, completely unchecked. And how it all just falls apart from something so simple. And this time around, 9Pandas not looking to get cheeky. They're looking to split in onto this B site. Flash comes out, and Elizabeth is good for the first. Oh, Josi on the site can only get 1 before she's traded, but Jenny has her back. Already down to 3 versus 3. Now, the site is more or less under 9Panda's control, but there's some good sight lines from heaven, which Tati will shut down. The smoke blocks a lot of sight, so there is chance here for this bomb to get planted.
It can go in. Issue you've got is there's really limited utility for Big EQUIPA, and well as numbers. Victoria, Shu, in a matter of moments, eliminate the last remaining players of the CT side. And I like the game plan, the change of pace out of 9Pandas. It's direct. They take spacing towards connector. They then burst out short. Fantastic flashbang, as you can see on the replay. And they're just able to kind of split the difference on the defense. ZAna-th does well to trade out, but from there, it's yet again individual gunfights that are coming up in 9Pandas Fearless's favor round after round.
I think that's been an issue for the last 2 maps. If you give 9Pandas the opportunity to take a 1-for-1, if you're not swinging on those 9Pandas players, chances are they're going to win those gunfights. Not every time, but they've been pretty consistent with it. And unfortunately, Big back down onto pistols, already taken a chunk of damage early on. They're stacking over towards this mid position. That'll give them some pretty easy rotates. They're hoping that 9Panda are going to push through and they can get some early spam damage, but 9Pandas aren't having any of it. Mid has not really been their play for most of this map so far. Instead, they're going to be pushing back towards that long position. We saw them there in the first round, and it worked out quite well for them. We'll see if they can overrun the site once more.
Yeah, this is such a good round out of 9Pandas. They know that the economy is going to be very limited for Big EQUIPA. At worst, they've got USPs. At best, they've got upgraded pistols. So what you do is by taking this long extremity, you're making sure that the gunfights are always favorable because they're long range. AKs versus pistols. You even got the delegation of Elizabeth and Shu just holding the back lines. Josi on the deagle could have found one, but the bullets just don't quite connect with the temple. And 9Pandas, they take complete control of the bomb site. It should just be a formality. It should be the 5th round locked in.
I'd be impressed if josi 1v5s this, I'll be honest. And with enough time to defuse the bomb. No, not to be. It would have been cool. It would have been a great story. That would have probably been our top play of the day. But no, that's a little bit too much to ask. Now Big, of course, going to be able to buy in a little bit more. 9Pandas just running circles around them. And like you said, changing up a lot of their pacing in some of these rounds as well. Now I'm talking obviously, so the previous was the anti-eco, the round before that, where they kind of just spearheaded onto that B site, whereas usually they play a far slower game. And so EQUIPA really struggling to read into what these rounds are going to look like. And even now, some of this very, very early utility, they're expecting aggression from Big EQUIPA. You can see where a lot of that utility has gone. They're expecting it. And so again, back down to a slower pace.
Yeah, however, the difficulty with going for that 4-player boost is you give up so much map control. Big EQUIPA, they realize that no one's there at A. In actual fact, they've already rotated the 3rd player down B. ZAna-th jump in. Hasn't blown off the connector door. Finance is too limited to afford a couple of grenades, so information is very limited. And that's why 9Pandas can play this slower play style. They can try and push and pull the rotations. And with this double up in towards Monster, this could either work out exceptionally for Big EQUIPA or it could fall at the first hurdle.
I'm concerned about these 2 players moving in towards mid here. And they could get flanked out by D7. But for now, all of the action is over towards B. They're trying to pull those rotations, and now D7, she's getting into position. They haven't expected it. Oh, the swing comes out, but Tati does manage to get that kill. And this could be the exact opening that they need. So much of Big had moved over towards that B site, thanks to all the noise that had been made very, very early on. Now, as they move over towards the site, it's ZAna, and she still has that AWP in her hands, and she's going to make it work for her. First kill on the line, just before she can nab the second. She gets taken out at the knees by Tati. The site is free and clear. The bomb will go down. This is a very doable retake, but it's difficult by every measure. No utility left, and probably the better answer here is to just try and save.
Yeah, and that is, again, another slight mid-round variation that 9Pandas have thrown in. Because if you remember, a few rounds ago, they did put a lot of presence over towards the toilets. They found out D7, and then they started dropping utility over towards A, but Shu had worked her way out Monster. And as a result of that round happening, Big left 2 players over towards the B bomb site. So ZAna is tasked with an absolute enormous amount of responsibility. Does win the AWP head-to-head, but then gets overwhelmed with the flashbangs over the site, and the rotations, they just can't come in.
very clear to see why this was 9Pandas map pick and why it's one of those ones that they do so well on. Now we're finally seeing a timeout coming out here from Big. I think this is the first one we've actually seen so far. They didn't take one on our first map, which was a little surprising to say the least. But it's definitely a good moment to just try and regroup a little bit. They've seen quite a lot of how 9Pandas have been playing these rounds. They know how dynamic this team are. What do you think the win condition is here for Big EQUIPA going forward? What do you think needs to be adjusted?
There's a lot of players going for information, especially over towards A. You're looking at D7 in particular, that is trying to find this pocket of space. But more often than not, it almost feels like at times she's trying a little bit too hard to be the hero that Big EQUIPA need, rather than just kind of letting the play develop. Because inherently you're giving up those openers that way. You're allowing more space and then more pressure on the rest of your pieces to rotate in the right positions. I just would like a solid round out of Big EQUIPA where they're not really kind of put off guard by what's happening in this early round by 9Pandas, and they just become a lot more comfortable and rely a lot more on their crossfires within the site. What's your response when your bomb site's about to be executed upon? That's what I want to see.
9Pandas taking a moment here. Again, we've seen some of that early noise being made, but Big playing this a lot more safe. Not seeing any of those crazy early rotations again. And with that shot coming through from Victoria, that's gonna potentially call out those rotations. We could be seeing a flank here as well from Big, which they haven't really attempted previously. Could work out in their favor as 9P have their full force moving in towards the site. D7 and Jenny are instantly opening up, shutting down that push. And 9Pandas, who have looked so in control, get completely decimated. She was on a flank of her own, but it's ZAna who will deny her from getting into position. Now it's Victoria. Last one left, AWP in hand. No scopes this time around, my girl, as she gets shut down. Big finally get their second round.
Yeah, much better. Much better response in the mid round as well. And they set themselves up a lot more passively. They realized that there's been no pressure. There's been no grenades, no bullet spam over towards B. And typically you see on the CT side meta nowadays that the defense will sometimes kind of fade through the smoke towards Monster to try and gather some information or catch off the T's. That time, Ida realizes the Monster's completely clear, so the rotations can come over really early. It also means that the positioning of Big EQUIPA can be ready, and they don't have to kind of be caught in transition. 4-player boost, not quite working out again for 9Pandas, but that's fine.
It's okay, nobody saw. Production are definitely going to put that in the replays.
I don't do it to him.
Victoria trying to take a bit of early space here. Nice smoke to shut down some of those sightlines. Again, we've got an exploratory mission from Tati over towards that A site. It's good positioning early on. She can get a kill over onto the A site. That could be massive here.
This is so interesting because right now it looked like 9Pandas were gonna probably try and take contact off Tati in toilets. She was gonna be solo, and then they were gonna reset in towards B. Instead, Tati's, well, communicated.
Oh, no.
Look, guys, I've not seen anything. D7's taken a good angle up towards long, but surely that's going to be cleared. 4-player lean still for Big EQUIPA over at B. And that bomb, oh, it's making its way back.
Oh, my goodness. 9P are so smart. They make EQUIPA so paranoid, and now they've started moving over towards that B site. But it has somewhat been read into. Josie's here ready and waiting, and it's an absolute firing range as she will mow them down. 4 kills for herself. She was uncleared, she was unchecked, and she knew that it was coming. What a performance there. And that is, well, that's another round here for Big.
Look at this. If we've got a replay of it, take a look at this, whether it's the first bullet or the second bullet, because she's not even aiming at this player, and yet it still connects. What an incredible position being taken up by Josi. Incredible. I'm lost for words. This series is really delivering on all fronts. And where you've got 4 players gambled on B, you keep 2 over just in case. Because 9 Pandas have been prone to resetting. And that time, I think they're trying to play too much of 5D chess. They get in their own heads a little bit. And josi completely mows them down.
4 kills. I mean, that is so unprecedented. She should not be getting that much value. Yes, there's a flash that comes through, but like, I'm pretty sure that she was flashed herself for one of those kills. So the fact that she's able to just spray through and get 4 is absolutely ridiculous. But it's exactly what Big needed, giving themselves a lifeline once again. That seems to be the order of the day for this team. Just lifeline after lifeline. And come into this round, very little to their names. They approach this round like they've approached every round. Slow and methodical. Try and crack their way into the site.
Such an important round for Big EQUIPA to win flawlessly. Money still hangs in the balance, and 9 Pandas are just going to try and gun it straight in. That flashbang is perfect. And now the follow-up. josi, who else but josi? Another important multi-kill, but fumbling with nades on the bomb site. And speaking of, Tati gets obliterated by 1 as well. Shrapnel in the shoes, bomb plant denied. It's just Elizabeth remaining in the 1 versus 3. And she's been good on the pistols. Will find an AK, but Jenny will silence her reign of terror before it can even begin. And Big EQUIPA, hold on.
Only down to a 2-round deficit now. Starting to show some signs of life at last. And 9 Panda, it was a round that they kind of, I would say they needed it in terms of the scoreline, but economically for sure, because they're back down onto their pistols here. Next round they'll be fine. However, there's a little bit of util to play with here. Some slightly upgraded pistols, so there's some firepower at least to work with. But Big are looking to close this deficit down to only 1 and potentially even things out after the next round. It's going to be a full pistol rush here up towards this A site, but a barrage of utility keeps them at bay, and it's D7 this time. Oh, it wasn't a 3K spray down. It was only 2 as ZAna steals 1, but D7 will get her 3rd at the end.
Yeah, and that's huge little confidence boosting kills for D7 coming in, because she's had a quiet start to life in this first half of Overpass. So the fact that she's able to kind of equalize out her scoreline a little bit, and also equalize out the scoreline at the top of the screen, that's the most important. 1 round in it. 6 is normally the amount of rounds you look to. And ZAna going for this boost again, it might pay off, because there's been a number of rounds in which they've elected to go for this 4-player tower. Haven't been able to construct it, but at least you'll see the smoke falling over the top.
Big once again giving up a lot of the space early on. But they did get that early information. They at least have something to work with. And of course, spotting out some of that utility. But are they checking Tati's? Oh, flash comes out. Doesn't connect, but it will get traded out. And ZAna's good for a 2nd. That's the A site shut down. And the bomb is going to go, you know what? Maybe we don't go here. 3 players left. Just she was made her way in onto site, but she is mowed down in the prime of her life. Now bomb is in no man's land. It is on a player, but very much alone in the grand scheme of things.
Really enjoying ZAna's reposition there. Falling back, not in the open. Jenny, you don't want to go around this corner. Don't want to get caught out, because Victoria, give her an inch, she'll take a mile. Now ZAna's attention distracted with this long player, has to secure the kill. But Elizabeth runs up truck instead. 2 versus 2. And josi, the only player with HP, is so far removed from the fight.
Actually angry at how good that player was, but Molotov comes through to try and clear that, make sure there's nobody sitting on that truck. Slight reposition here. Elizabeth, bomb is planted for her. She can very easily get a sight on it. No util left. 1 flash for Big EQUIPA, but it's Elizabeth. Of course it's Elizabeth to shut it down. So Victoria pushing up long, getting that kill, distracting ZAna long enough for Elizabeth to get the kill. I'm actually mad at how good that was. And it turns an almost unwinnable round into a 1 round.
Yeah, I mean, look at the start here for ZAna. You think she's got it ready and waiting. And just the shoulder bait allows Elizabeth to secure. A smoke went out long, trying to just completely cut off vision for Victoria. Maybe it should have gone on the bomb. Regardless, 9 Pandas will get another round in the books. 7 looks phenomenal on T side.
See anarchy there on Fatal's gun. You are correct. This has been utter anarchy. 9 Pandas have taken some early map control, and now they're chilling.
They're so good at this. They're so good at playing the patience game, knowing when to slow down, knowing when the EQUIPA might overstep and make the mistakes. Tati is holding this long toilet, and D7 might be walking into it yet again. Instead, takes up a tighter angle, wants the fight to come to her.
Oh, and somehow Tati is able to win that one out. That is a devastating start to the round here for Big EQUIPA. A lot of damage done over, but the number advantage maintains for 9 Panda as Elizabeth will trade out on ZAna. Now the site is almost free and clear. Jenny R is in a good spot, but she gets spotted out. And Ida's the last one. She's on the wrong site. She's in Narnia, and not much to be done at this point.
It has to be a save. Needs to be as well.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to let her. They're not fanning out too heavily. They realize that in their own economic state, probably wouldn't be the best idea if they lost the gun themselves. So let her hold on to that. It's not going to be the biggest issue in the world. And I did just go and double check. So the last time that they played on Overpass, it was a 7-8 half. And it was in favor of Big EQUIPA. So again, we're seeing a change in the trend here. 9 Pandas have confirmed themselves winning this half. If they carry on with this streak, we've only got 2 rounds left here. So Big, with limited cash into this round, gonna need to pull something very miraculous out of the bag if they want to try and close that gap before the half. Go on.
ZAna's just dropped to Negev. Alright.
Sure, I guess.
I mean, that gun is amazing. So I have to see whether it can really work its magic on B. However, Ida, with her M4, strikes for 1. Fatal with the immediate trade. But she's brought down quite low. And they've actually just completely vacated. And, oh, Josie, go on. Do it. Make it sing. Oh. No, not quite. Instantaneous headshot from Shu.
One of the few guns that they had. It will get recovered. Now Jenny R gonna have to try and make it work, but she's pulled out the pistol. No time to reload. No time to make something happen as Shu will take her down. ZAna for herself does have an actual rifle, but D7 is the one here on the site with a deagle. Cannot deny the bomb from getting planted. Molly is going to push her off of the angle. That's going to buy so much more time as ZAna, she's rotating through Narnia, checking every angle just in case. I think she's just trying to hold on to that weapon at this point.
Yeah, there's no way they go for it. It's just so that Jenny R can have utility behind her investment. And ZAna's actually found an AK. So D7's going to come over towards Playground, pick up an M4. So 2 rifles saved over, pretty good. But the best amount of rounds that Big EQUIPA can now achieve is 6. Which, if the scores were flipped the other way around, they had 9, and 9 Pandas had 6. I'll simply saying that was a very good T half for 9 Pandas. The fact that 9 Pandas could potentially hit double digits before the half is even ended, that's a completely different story. And they look so determined to make it in 2, book their tickets to Dallas.
I think if you're Big at this point, you are definitely feeling the pressure, feeling a little bit nervous. 1 round left here on this half. 1 round left to make some magic. For Big to give themselves a little bit more room to breathe on the second half. And again, 9 Pandas, as much as they can taste their victory, the finish line lies out before them. They're still not being overly confident about this. Playing it safe as they always have. But it's a clear lean towards B at the moment. A lot of that utility has come through. Shots ring out, but josi cannot connect it. Finally, however, she will get that down, but instantly those 2 kills are traded back, and the site is in full control of 9 Pandas. Now, we do still have Jenny. No, we don't. She was on site, but not anymore, and it's just D7. Again, in a 1 versus 2, it's definitely doable. Bomb will only have just been planted, so if she's quick, even without a kit, she could make this happen, but she has to go now.
No utility for 9 Pandas. So just going to set up in a crossfire instead. D7 around the corner, catches out the AWP, but doesn't know where Tati lies in. Wait up on the bomb site. It's a tough adjustment, but she can't quite get it. It's 9 Pandas fearless with 10 rounds as the sides swap over.
Coffee from your favorite cup, but you're still not waking up. Oh, what a mess. You know how the story goes. Same as yesterday, or so I'm told. Speak the filthy truth underneath the bed. Cobwebs in the corner inside your head. Oh, what a mess. We've got to clean it up. We trudge right through the mud. We've got to scrub out the trail of lies before another one. The world is a wreck we've built, made of fear and hate, complacence guilt. We can change it with a simple test. There's something's beating in our chest. Oh, what a mess. We've got to clean it up. We trudge right through the mud. We've got to scrub out the trail of lies before another one. We've got to clean it up. We trudge right through the mud. We've got to scrub out the trail of lies before another one. We've got to clean it up. We trudge right through the mud. We've got to scrub out the trail of lies. Oh, what a mess.
Very dominant yet again from the Pandas. On their map pick this time of Overpass, 10 rounds on the T side. It is a very steep mountain for Big EQUIPA to climb. And as a reminder, they need to win this map to stay in contention of the series to book their place in for the online finals at Dallas.
Oh, 9
Right
Pandas.
Yeah,
They-
that's horrible.
9 Pandas are currently 10 Pandas.
Yeah.
The number just keeps going up at this point. Nice positioning here towards toilet. Oh, spots out one. Knows that it's probably going to be a rush. So Shu is going to get a few shots off. How does she survive for so long? Only is able to get one, but it's so back and forth. And yet somehow 9Pandas stabilize. ZAna, last one left alive. Doesn't have control of the bomb. Doesn't have her life. And it's a clean and easy first round for 9Pandas.
Clean as you like. Impressive from Fatal as well. Josi, there was some crisp, clean kills, immediate trades coming out, but it looks like she scroll wheel jumped here in the middle of the engagement, and that's a costly mistake. Fatal on the follow-up, partially blind, and one taps her opponents out of the server. EQUIPA struggling for breath at the moment.
I'm really digging the 9Panda jerseys. I need to cop myself one. It's only partially because it's Pandas, of course. Full stack into mid here. Oh, okay. MP9 only good for 2, but that's still plenty. 23 players left alive. And still caught out in this mid position. So not too much space to work with here. Sound of the footsteps is heard. It's called across. Fatal. Not good for any, but that's okay. Victoria will be on cleanup duty. Josi attempts to get at least one, but not to be. Not a flawless round, but a clean one nonetheless.
Incredible stuff. It's so much years of experience on Victoria's shoulders. She's been in these situations before, qualification games, and yet she still keeps her resolve. And it's really impressive to see. And we were talking about win conditions for EQUIPA. It's the players all stepping up. Well, take a look at the kill distribution for 9Pandas. They are all within just 2 kills, 3 kills of each other.
Nine Pandas taking some very aggressive map control here. But just enough. There's like an invisible barrier. And they don't want to overstep that line. They're maintaining control of their own territory, but the moment big attempt to aggress in, 9Pandas will be ready and waiting. Flash comes out. She's firing into no man's land, but that's okay. Shu's still alive. Manages to get 2 for herself. She's being boxed in, though. She'll do a ton of damage, but won't be able to connect onto a third. Now Big have an advantage. They move in over towards the site. There's only one player posted up here to try to deny the plant, and deny it she will. Jenny R. Okay, she didn't have the bomb, but she denies her life. And now this rotation coming in from Tati. Once she gets into position, this could be devastating. Big need to have eyes in the back of their heads, and that they do. D7 is watching, yet no, she turns away. She wasn't looking at the right moment. She expects them to be pushing in from the other side. And now it's only ZAna left to hold the line, but Tati is just better.
Oh, again, timing a counter-strike. D7 turns around, and Tati just activates. She had to smoke. She had so much utility she could drop down. You can see how chaotic the communication is for EQUIPA as well, heading into that one, because they dropped 2 smokes in the same position. One completely misses. Fantastic setup to get Shu a double up as well. Playing anti-flash. Just establishing so many crossfires. And even in the clutchest of moments, 9Pandas will still reign supreme. It's a shutout here on the defense.
All right, Big. Running out of opportunities here. Got a bit of a broken buy into this one. I've tossed out quite a bit of early util. Now they're going to start to take that space. Start to try and gain some of that ground. 9Panda once again playing the patient game. Not over-rotating or over-committing. Waiting for Big to walk into their crosshairs.
Victoria, did she spot someone? Yeah, posted up on Divider. Goes for a wallbang. Doesn't quite connect, and keep my eyes posted at B as well, because if they start pushing for information, they're going to find out that nobody's home, which would make the rotations all that more prevalent. ZAna, that's an important first find, and now they're accelerating. Victoria, I don't think she's aware, but it's a collateral, and is that enough damage for 9Pandas to work their way back into the round?
So much damage done, but somehow Big are maintaining their life force. They've given themselves the advantage. Bomb has been planted, and now they have to maintain that awareness. Keep watching every angle. Smoke's beginning to fade, but it's fatal with the crossfire to come through. ZAna, however, will instantly trade it back. Now, Elizabeth, we've seen her in this position before. She's made miracles happen. She knows where these players are. They're just going to try to play time. The peek from ZAna is good. And Elizabeth, no clutch this time.
Yeah, I like that. They keep it in the face of danger. They don't let Elizabeth try and set the pace. They don't let her kind of take the engagements on her terms. ZAna, low HP, doesn't matter when you're on that sniper. You can give a peek, one shot, and if you miss, you're kind of dead to rights anyway. So she just goes for the aggressive swing. It's a little bit of a risk, but they're ones that Big Keeper need to start taking because they are running out of time here in this second map. 13 rounds to 6. Again, an immediate pause coming in from 9 Pandas. I'm really loving the timing of these pauses being called in. It gives them 30 seconds. It gives them a little bit of a breather to talk about what went wrong and what can be adapted immediately to not let Big build up any momentum.
It really does feel like ZAna has been such a linchpin player for Big Keeper in so many of these moments. She's sitting up there 16 and 12. She's just been so impressive round after round. If she can keep that up, maybe we see that OT. It's still a ways off. Not counting my chickens just yet. We're not on Inferno, so there's no chickens to count. But it's a bit of a spotty buy, to say the least, from 9B. So no, I don't think they're going to get too much done here. This should be at the very least the 7th round for Big. Just seeing some of that early pre-fire coming through. Spamming through smoke, spamming through walls. Trying to connect onto something. Already a little bit of early damage onto Tatty. But no space gain just yet.
Loving this boost as well. You can see over the top, deep in towards the toilets as Josie tries to wrestle with that control. Shu can just take it away from her without a fair gunfight. Again, more of the same. 9 Pandas, 3 players over towards B, potentially looking to push out at the opportune moment. This time it's over towards short. Fatal secures the information, and maybe that means the rotations are going to come up early.
Good positioning here from these 2 boosted players. Shu gets 1, but is traded out, and her boost buddy is still alive. Victoria not going to be able to get 1 for herself. This is a great opening here for Big Keeper. Able to get that bomb planted, and they've taken away pretty much all of the weaponry available for 9 Panda, but still the Deagle sings. Manages to get 1 more, manages to chip away slightly, but it seems that may be all they're good for. Elizabeth, once again, it's a 1v3. Doesn't have much to work with here. No util. No kit. The impossible mission. And she's just going to back out.
Yeah, it does make sense. If she can steal away a rifle, that'd be great. Knows that some of the players could be quite low. Which has been a trademark, really, for Big Keeper in a number of these rounds. Getting out of dodge by the skin of their teeth, securing another one. And it's a similar story to Anubis. It's a late-staged comeback now being attempted by Big Keeper. But have they given themselves enough rounds to work with on the CT side? Can they do it? That's the next question. It's going to be an eco, so that makes it 13-8. Round number 23, the next investment for the defense.
Oh, and this is a rush straight down into mid, into those toilets position with those pistols. Waiting to see if anybody pushes in towards them, but no. There's an exploratory mission over on B. D7 with that MAC-10 is going to clear that out. Bomb's going to make its way over. Now D7's positioned herself nicely. She can push out to try and get some kills, or she can hang out and try and catch some rotations. Either way, 9P, this was more or less how this round was going to go for them. They give up the space entirely and then attempt some sort of a, maybe not a retake, but some exit frags. Now D7's position could pay off massively. If they haven't read into where she's going to be, she could get so much value with this.
I mean, she's given all the information that it has to be over towards either connector or a flank, and that's where she can start to flex her muscles. 2 quick kills with the SMG. And Big Keeper, this one was always going to go by the book. Just how many can D7 find? How much can she line her pockets free? Not too bad at all. And that's the only sort of weapon that 9 Pandas can bring forward in. All right, 13-8. Still not quite sold on the idea of the comeback, but maybe after this gun round, Big Keeper will be turning more heads.
And we started to believe a little bit on Anubis. It was around about this point as well, when Big EQUIPA had gotten to 8 rounds, but it was summarily snatched back by 9 Pandas. So we'll give it a couple more rounds. If Big EQUIPA can win those 2 rounds, then, well, maybe the dream is alive. But as of right now, the big thing that EQUIPA can really take advantage of here is the supremely minimal utility available for 9P. If they can draw some of that out early on, they're in with a chance. But immediately some of that util comes out, does some of that chip damage onto their players, and slows their push massively. This is one of those rare rounds where 9P will push out quite aggressively into this mid area, past that kind of invisible barrier I spoke about previously. And while it doesn't net them a kill, it does give them a ton of information, and it gives Victoria the chance to get into this little off angle. Oh, she's not really expected, but is only good for 1. As 2 of her teammates, or 1 of her teammates, I suppose, plus her, will fall. And the A side is basically free and clear, but there's a potential for a pincer here, but it's a pincer on a pincer as separate flanks start moving their way in towards this A site. Fatal not able to connect the shot as Jenny flicks around, and now the last 2 players for 9 Panda blocked behind a smoke. No real vision. Oh, and Taxi goes down. Elizabeth always in these last player standing moments, and again it's ZAna to deny any attempt at a clutch.
Yeah, much better. Really nice response coming out of Big as well. Knows the utility's dropped in towards connector, so they just completely circumnavigate it, go out towards long, and then enforce these late flanks coming on over. But the most important player, the X factor for Big EQUIPA, is Josi. The fact that she finds Shu and is able to isolate Victoria out long, it was always supposed to be a bait and switch for 9 Pandas. Instead, there wasn't really too much switching. Huge turn of pace, huge important round for Big EQUIPA to win. Suddenly, D7 yet again on her own, going for a little bit of an explore. This time it's not a MAC-10, it's an AK-47. But more importantly, Big EQUIPA know that it's a stack towards B.
And they've managed to snag that rifle for themselves as well. They will lose Fatal in that crossfire. But at least they've got something to try and bite back with. Bearing in mind, of course, if Big win this, they're on double digits, and it's only a 3-round deficit. It becomes that much more doable. Now, after losing 1 player, they slow down the pace, give themselves a moment to readjust. And these late round stabilizations are so key for teams at this level. You have to be able to readjust. They start moving into a very, very open B site. It is just Elizabeth here. She's going to spot out 1. But she's taken down before she even has an opportunity to try to get a kill for herself. Rotation from 9P is going to be so delayed. And again, with only USPSs, it's going to take a miracle. And ZAna is not going to let that happen. Oh, Shu's actually managed to recover 1 of those AKs, and she is going to hoof it.
Yeah, pretty important save, to be honest. The fact that they can just evacuate a rifle out of this position just means that 1 player won't be left wanting with utility, and that's so important to the success of this CT side. Big EQUIPA are doing a phenomenal job right now of hunting in pairs and able to immediately just trade off the difference if things get a little bit pear-shaped. 13 rounds to 10. Okay, it's starting to feel a little bit more believable. You can start to see the stars align for Big EQUIPA, and they are all showing up in a big way as well. ZAna at the top of the sheets yet again, but Josi not far behind, providing significant impact. And it's yet again these openers that are really dictating the flow of Big EQUIPA's end destination.
All right. 9 Pandas again, taking some solid map control down towards mid. Laying down a lot of utilities, some smokes, some flashes as well. Just a slow big down a little bit. Nade comes out, but it falls a bit short. The big managed to hold on to their HP at that juncture. 9 Pandas doing a decent job of stemming the tide a little bit here. Big look like they want to go aggressive. And I love Shu's position here. If there's an attempt made at a rotation, she's going to be ready. And Elizabeth on a slight off angle will get that first kill of the round, and that is absolutely pivotal. Gives themselves the numbers advantage. Tati repositions, is able to get one for herself. Can't get the second, but does a ton of damage onto Ada. However, that means that the site is free and clear here for Big. They can start moving in. Now that position from Shu becomes important. ZAna is watching this flank. She's waiting for someone to peek out. 9 Pandas have some really good angles here available to them. If they can swing out together, if they can retake the space, they have a chance. Bomb gets planted. Fatal crosses over, spots out one, does some damage. Elizabeth will clean it up, and Fatal will get one for herself as well. Now ZAna, last player left alive. She's been key, but it's Victoria who shuts her down.
And you started to touch upon it with Shu's positioning, but that all comes based on the information and the speed of the response from 9 Pandas. ZAna fires off that AWP shot onto the jumping player at short, and the reaction is to push in towards water for 9 Pandas and for Shu to get deep in towards connector, because they know that space is not going to be occupied there, because it takes 5 players to make that totem pole. And the speed of the reaction is what enables this retake to be an incredible success.
9 Pandas back in the driving seat for now. Big still had cash to play with, thankfully. The back of quite a few consecutive round wins. 9 Pandas on the verge of match and series point here. Again, Shu in a nice little spot for herself. Not too aggressive, not too deep, but might be able to catch one out for herself. Spots out one. Gets pushed and annihilated as Jenny with a quick headshot will take her out. Victoria, however, will trade it back. She knows she's being pressured, so she's going to reposition. Throws down the flash. Oh, flash coming out from Ida. She knows she has to pull back again. And so much pressure on Victoria means that she can't watch anywhere else. But this is good because this is where the bomb is. And Victoria's good for a second. Ida will swing at just the right time, though, and takes that AWP off the field. But they haven't cleared Fatal. She's been chilling. She's been waiting for the opportunity. Gets one for herself. And Tati is holding this back of sight. They can stall out for time as Fatal gets yet another one. Josie's the last one, and her position is absolutely known. She's chilling in bank. The molly stops her from pushing out. She can see the bomb. It's so close, but so far. Now she can push out a little bit, but it's going to be Fatal who disallows her from getting to that bomb.
You got to give so much credit to these reactions coming out of 9 Pandas. Even here, right? Shu gets deleted. Victoria finds the trade, then walks back in to find D7. As all this is going on, Fatal, by the way, has just walked in toilets the entire time. There's constant diversion, stepping in the shadows of where Victoria once stood. And it just sets 9 Pandas up for success beautifully. Series point now for 9 Pandas finish, and it's so well deserved.
And the start is not great. Some of that early util damage onto Big EQUIPA, and that's instantly going to slow them down so much. They're denying so much of that space. Fatal's in a good spot here. It's a deep angle. It could backfire, but it could net them a nice early opening kill. She's got the right angle for it as well. I think this first contact is obviously going to be the really important one. Tati looking down Monster, not spotting anything. There's a lot of smoke there, but finally someone's going to push into Fatal. Oh, good usage of that little signposting there. The shots do not connect. Fatal position known. She has to get the hell out of there, and she's not able to. Josie with the aggression pushes in, gets that first kill of the round, but no, just when Big think it's safe to go back in the water, they get completely massacred. And and josi, who get the opening kill of the round. We're the last player left alive. This round is so important. Dallas on the line. If josi cannot pull out a 1v3 here, their hopes and dreams for this next LAN are completely dashed.
Also difficult as well. 25 seconds, bomb was completely in the jaws of the 9 Pandas, creeping her way through. josi isolates one and the second. There's a chance. Low HP, swaps to the AWP and needs to try and find the kill, but Victoria is holding at the pillar, and 9 Pandas Fearless will do it in 2. They book their tickets to Dallas.
Oh, that last second there, josi, that spray transfer. I didn't even think you would get that. And it gets so close, and she tries the shoulder peek while she has...